we'll be so poor, so
Yeah.
poor that we might as well just be
Yeah.
peasants.
We look at how far we've come, maybe, or not far enough, but we're better off now than we were then. I just pulled some quick stats, right, on food, shelter, clothing on the CPI. And I always look at all perils, everything, right? It's transportation, food, clothing, that type of thing. And say the average is 4%, right? Reality is if you were, I don't know, if you were to say how many people's wages net were increased by 4% in the last year, I think it'd be dismal with everything going on in the world, right? Dismal. And if they were, that would no longer be 4%.
That's right.
It's just a derivative, but it's a stark, sad reality of where we're at. And it's not slowing down. That's a machine. It's going to continue to go from there. So,
hey everyone, welcome to Authentic Hustle 41.
41.
41 weeks nonstop. Welcome you all the millions of listeners. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much. We couldn't have made it without you. So glad you're watching us. You're hearing interesting comments there. So we are trying to bring interesting topics every week after week. So putting our thinking hats on. So this week we wanted to, before we kick us off, welcome Colin Harms joining us from Lethbridge. Welcome Kelly Kennedy joining us from Edmonton. Right. So and BJ joining from Wetaskiwin. So hey everyone.
Hey.
So this week we want to kick us off with something that's going on in our minds. I think it affects everyone, is worldwide. In fact, it's the cost of living crisis indeed. So how much has it costed in 2019 2020 versus like what is the cost of living now? You can do a reality check every time you go to the checkout counter at the Costco, or every time you buy something new. So what used to cost $20 costs like $80 or $100. And I think worldwide it has been a growing problem, and the currency has been devaluing, and the cost of inflation has been going up and up and up. And so the families are actually trying to get more jobs, like more people working in the homes, less family time, and less time for the things that they want to do and what matters to them. So I just want to kick us off with the affordability and cost of living crisis topic.
good one.
Yeah.
Good one. You know what? I think I can lead in with that. I heard recently that our friends that we love you all in the South across the border, that something was thrown out last week, possible 50-year mortgages.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So I saw a meme on the weekend with Dave Ramsey. Had a picture of Dave Ramsey in a hospital bed, and he had an IV, and it showed one guy celebrating that he could buy more house, and then it had Dave Ramsey having a heart attack or something on the other end, saying it's the worst idea ever. So I thought about it, 50-year mortgages, and then I heard the president, I can't think of his name right now, of Ford Motor Company. He was on a podcast or an interview, and they said, "Hey, now that vehicles are, they throw them out there at $90,000 and $100,000, how are people going to be able to afford these?" And you know what his answer was? Well, extend the amortization. Right. So you're going to see, like they did years ago for RVs, right? A 15-year am, that type of thing, but they're going to start with a 10-year amortization. I haven't seen it done yet, but they talk about it. So I think that's going the wrong way, right? As opposed to seeing how can we make these affordable for people, not extending them out, not so they owe money longer, not so you change the retirement age from 65 to 75 because you have to. That's not quality of life, and that's not quality of affordability of life. So
I agree. First off, 10-year loans have been around for a very long time on cars. That's actually not new. I want to say that existed way back in like 2007, 2008, even when I was doing it. Although, of course, that wasn't something that was promoted. We were like, get yourself a 10-year loan.
Yeah.
No, but they've been around a very, very long time. And I agree, that's not the right path. Like the reality is, even at 7 years, which is your average car loan, you're probably getting pretty close to the full life of that vehicle by the end of that 7 years, right? Like it's too long. 10 years is too long. Let's just start there. That's not the right path. Agreed. But what do we do? Like, let's just there's lots of different ideas. I know, VJ, you'd say, let's just convert everything to Bitcoin. The rest of the world could just say, well, we just need our currency to be worth more. At the end of the day, none of that matters, guys, because the groceries are
Well,
still going up, and my paycheck, aside from me taking on more work, ain't changing. And I think that's the challenge. That's maybe an advantage that us entrepreneurs have, is that as our cost of living goes up, we can just say, well, we have to charge more, or we have to take on additional contracts, right? Like, we just have to grow more.
mhm.
But the average person doesn't have that ability. The average factory worker, employee, they can't just take on more work, or, they can ask for raises, which can just be rejected. I think the challenge that we face is that it's completely out of our control. And as much as we want to sit here and be like, I want affordability to be better, agreed, I do. What impact can we even have?
Well, let's use. I like what you said. They can ask for raises. They may be accepted or denied. The second that raise is accepted, the cost of living goes up again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that. It's not an answer, right? Because
So is
that's
the
what's.
answer that we want too much? That
No,
we're asking for too much?
I think the answer, not maybe not, is the three things we need is food, shelter, and clothing. Right? That's what's not affordable right now. How do we go back and rejig them? And I'll use them in my own business. Less than 5 years ago, the cost of a cab chassis for what we build trucks on was 30 grand, maybe 32. Today, 74.
Wow.
And that's a partial truck, right? So I would love to see the data that justifies a 3-time multiplier on that, because I just don't see it. It's not in wages, right? It's not in energy cost. It's not. Where is it other than it? The corporation's making more money. It was a
Yeah.
bailout, and now they're making more money. And I'm not going to fight that one, but I am going to fight in my own business. When we sell a truck, we have to say, okay, I'll use an example. So if a truck would cost $90,000 complete 5 years ago, it's now 155. That same guy who buys the truck has to go out and provide a service for almost the same price he did 5 years ago. Right. So he goes to VJ's house. He's going to do what he's going to do. The cleaning with that's done with the truck. Say it's a $500 service. He's not getting $1,500 now, 5 years
Right.
later, which is the same multiplier. Right. He may, in essence, be doing it for less than he was doing it 4 or 5 years ago just to get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
That's
Well,
where affordability collides with reality.
but you and me both know that as prices go up, like, let's go through that chain, right? The cost of your trucks goes up. You have no choice. You have no
We have no
choice
choice.
but to charge more,
Right.
right? Which means that the person who buys your truck has no choice but to charge more. Like, guaranteed.
That's
He
right.
has to. I get that it's competitive, but
Yep.
like, when the cost of the equipment is going up 30-40%, you have no choice but to recoup
That's right.
that money from your customer. And so that chain just keeps going, right? You're right. It starts with the big corporations, but at the end of the day, it's going to be paid by the
By the
end
consumer.
user always,
Always.
the consumer
Always.
always, right?
Yeah.
There is, I don't know, man. Like, it's like our economy is not designed to go backwards, right?
No, it's
Like,
not.
it's just so, like, to ask anybody to go backwards is going to be an impossible ask.
Yeah,
Right?
true.
Ford is
It's
not going to charge less for their trucks. It's just
no.
not going to happen.
No.
Right.
No,
And
they're
if
not
Ford
going to.
isn't going to charge less for their trucks, Colin, you can't charge less for your
Nope.
for your trucks, and the guy actually doing the cleaning can't charge less for his cleaning. It's an endless cycle. The only way this goes is more expensive.
True.
So to me, it would have to be a catastrophic economic collapse would be the only thing that would reset the whole thing, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong. I'm not an economist. Let me just put that out there. But if I look at this, I don't see this going backwards ever, unless something horrible was to happen.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I like President Bukele from El Salvador. Nothing to do with politics or anything like that. But he said something in a CPAC conference. He said, like, countries should stop spending, like, if they don't have the money, they should not spend more than what they have. Actually, I mean,
Sure.
it's as simple as that. Taking
That's a
on
great
more
idea.
debt, like, taking on more debt over and over. I mean, taking debt is fine, like managing the risk and whatnot. I mean, in fact, from a capitalist point of view, I think that's great. If you know there's going to be revenue across in a year or two or in the next 5 years, but countries taking on billions of, even in fact, trillions of dollars of debt, it actually bankrupts a country. Actually, I mean, like there are many big organizations like International Monetary Fund, Bank of International Settlements. These are international organizations thriving on the only concept of like issuing new debt, right? The current
Yeah.
debt for the United States is $37 trillion, right? How are they going to pay back? Similarly for
Tariffs.
Canada, it's a lot. It's tariffs, yeah, tariff people, and then get paid off. So who's suffering? And Trump has said that he's going to give a $2,000 check. That's not going to cut anything at all.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, right?
And
Not even a month's
Yeah.
rent.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
in
does
the
this
US.
remind you of anything? Carbon tax? We'll
Right?
cut you a $600
Yeah.
check, but you're going to pay more on everything and
but-
be okay
Right.
with it.
Yeah, we're gonna give you a gift out of your own pocket, but only part of it, only a percentage, right? But VJ, you're right. It is not spending more than you're earning, right? It is the answer. But the hard part of that is our world revolves on a debt to service ratio.
Right.
Right. And that's how everything works. Right. We're going to give you this much based on this. We're going to give you this much based on this. And then what do? Extend the amortization. So
Right.
your debt service ratio is extended. This isn't the first time this conversation's been had. It's been had, since early 1900s, I'm sure, right? When they start borrowing money that way or however they do it. But what will make it cheaper for me to go to the grocery store? What will make it, not necessarily cheaper, like we all understand how it works, but what will make it more affordable? That's the thing. When I go to I heard my daughter's boyfriend say the other day that he's 23 or 24, that his friend is driving a Toyota Tacoma, a new one, and it's costing him $1,100 a month plus insurance.
Hmm.
That's a mortgage. That
Mhm.
is a mortgage
Right.
cost.
Well,
right?
was a
And it-
mortgage 10
well-
years ago.
It was. You're right. You're right. But that's the thing, right? But Kelly, here's the reality of it. The sad, stark reality is that was a mortgage cost, say however many years ago, but was
Sure.
that affordable? Right?
Yeah, right.
Right?
It's all relative, right? Like we could go back. I remember my parents bought a beautiful large acreage when I was 4 or 5 years old for $105,000.
sure.
I'm sure that same acreage is $600,000 or $800,000 today.
Well,
It's
I
all
pull-
relative.
I pulled the title for a guy for an estate, and they wanted to see whose name was on title. They bought the house, the people on title, in 1965 for $2,500.
Wow, $2,500.
$2,500,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
The survivor, the wife, still lives in it.
Wow.
Yeah, she's like 92 or something. And I'm like, holy crap, right? And so then he said, but they did an addition on it, for what, $80? Like how much?
It was an additional $1,000, double
So-
the size of the home.
So when you think about it, though, okay, that was 65 years ago or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But how have things changed from then? And I did hear a guy say, if say a Ford half ton like I have is, say it's $100,000, right?
Yeah.
Then back in the day, whatever day that was, when that truck was, say it was $3,000, a house was $12,000 or $15,000, right?
Yes.
That's what's changed, right? Is your annual salary shouldn't be the equivalent of a car price, right?
Right.
That type of thing. It's just a hard one. But how, Kelly? I think you were right when you said, "How do we back that out?" I don't think we do. It will
don't think we
never
can.
go back. And I'm of the mindset, but that's an entrepreneurial thing of, okay, I guess I just have to make more, right?
Yeah.
And I'll always have to make more. I have to create my own retirement, right? I have to do all those things. There's nobody matching me, be in the office next to me saying, I'm going to match you 3%, whatever you do, I'll give you the equivalent, right? No, there's nobody there. So I do have to just go make more. I do have to create more on the day-to-day basis, but that doesn't make it more affordable, right? That in the services that I provide, Kelly, you're right. I have to charge more, right?
Yeah.
My supply chain continues to give us increases, and only a fool would say, "Oh, I'm not going to pass that on." I have to pass that on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I would argue that what is it? What do they call it? The consumer price index, right? And I get
Yep.
like, where if we say that's
Yep.
like eggs and stuff. But I would guess that if you were to do the math on a vehicle purchase, let's call it back in 1968, and a vehicle purchase today,
Yep.
that we've lost probably at least 2 times the buying power that we had back then. And
Right.
so my argument would be is that even though, yes, sure, the average salary was maybe $5 or $10 an hour, and the average vehicle was $7,000, that does not equate to an average salary today of, let's call it $35 an hour. And I think I'm probably being high with that, and a vehicle price being 100 grand, right?
Right.
Like, our ability to buy things is going down drastically. Like, I would say 200% or more over the past 50 years.
Hmm.
So what do you do about that, right? Like to me, VJ, if you look at it like that, and you consider, and once again, guys, I could be wrong on my math. I'm just throwing it out there. I genuinely think that our buying power has probably gone down by at least 2 full times in the last 50 years. And obviously some things are different than others, but I think that's probably pretty fair, because I don't necessarily think that the cost of things has gone evenly with the increase in our wages over time. And I think, like you said, like
Right.
the fact that an average vehicle is 100 grand today is a pretty good statement on that.
Right.
But
I mean, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
sorry, VJ. All I'm suggesting is this sustainable? How much longer can we go if it doesn't change? Maybe that's the more important question to ask.
I mean, I've been studying this whole concept of like money, and Bitcoin is not the only answer, but like people who like
Are you
it can
sure?
But
can
it's a
choose
good
it.
answer.
The people who like it can choose it, but like they have to understand there's no reward without the risk, right? People
Yeah.
want the reward but not the risk, right? Which it doesn't work that way. Entrepreneurship is that way, Kelly, Colin. You would agree. Right,
Sure.
unless we take the risk, there's no reward there's no upside on the other side. I want to talk about in terms of like the kind of the control and the power that the government actually has, worldwide. The governments, the only major power that they have is how they spend the currency, right? How they spend the Canadian dollar, how they spend the US dollar. That's the supreme power. They say it's like there's division, there's a Federal Reserve, and it's Bank of Canada and Bank of England, so many other departments, but kind of the government kind of has monopoly on issuing the currency. Right? And some historical facts is like just stating facts here. In 1971, there's a president called Richard Nixon. He basically, what he did is he took a US dollar off the gold standard. Then it was not backed by anything. Until then, it was backed by gold. Then in 1971, when the French asked for all the gold in return, he took off the gold standard, and there's no backing. The gold-backed currency became a fiat currency. After that, many other hundreds of countries followed suit. Canada does the same. UK does the same. So many other European countries does the same. It's all fiat, right? You can just print unlimited number of paper backed by nothing. In fact, actually, that is a huge problem. Right? Because there's only so much finite gold in the world, and if it's backed by something, there won't be so many unnecessary wars and like socialist programs that doesn't pay off for anything actually.
Mhm.
So that is a huge problem. So fiat currency gives zero accountability to the government. Yes, I'm calling on the government because they are creating a huge problem for all of us living here, and I don't think we are asking enough questions to have them answer this properly. Because like, why should I be paying 10 times what it used to cost? Like the cost of home, right? Let's say it's $100,000 or $50,000. The salary was then, let's say, $10,000, 5 times the salary. Today, it's like $500,000, $1 million, right? It's like
Mhm.
20 times, 30 times the salary, and people cannot afford it. It's no joke, actually.
No,
No,
it's
it's
no
not.
joke. It's no joke. Right.
No, it's not. And actually, like, I think the case that we're making is that underneath the current paradigm, 50 years from now, and I get that 50 years, I mean, we're all going to be old men or gone.
I already am. I already am.
But 50 years from now, the
I'll be
world is
103.
it won't work, right? It simply won't work. We'll be so poor,
Yeah.
poor that we might as well just be
Yeah.
peasants.
But the
Right.
reality is, will we? Because in the dirty 30s, right? When nobody had anything, we look at how far we've come. maybe, or not far enough, but we're better off now than we were then. I just pulled some quick stats, right, on food, shelter, clothing on the CPI, and I always look at all perils, everything, right? That's transportation, food, clothing, that type of thing, and say the average is 4%, right? Reality is, if you were, I don't know, if you were to say how many people's wages net were increased by 4% in the last year, I think it'd be dismal with everything going on in the world, right? Dismal. And if they were, that would no longer be 4%,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
It's just a derivative, but it's a stark, sad reality of where we're at. And it's not slowing down. That's a machine, right? It's going to continue to go from there. So if we were to take, say, a 5-year spread, right? Or yeah, let's go 5 years, right? When was COVID? 2020,
Let's call it
right?
Right.
2020.
2020 until now. And then you had the supply shortage, you had all that stuff going on, right? And then now we have tariffs and everything else. I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see it exponentially grow the wrong way, right? It's going to continue to go. It already is on the US side. They're just not acting like it is, just because they're going to start to feel it very, very soon here. And they're going to feel it in all three of those, though: food, shelter, clothing. They're like, I watched a thing on clothing where a lady makes handbags in Texas, and she said, you know what, when the tariffs came in, she got a tariff from China. It was on there, and it was $64,000 on her first order, the tariff. And okay, now she had to make cutbacks, and all she makes is these certain handbags, but big following, been in business 20 years.
Sure.
She said, okay, we can weather the storm. We're going to maybe have to let some people go. We're going to have to change really tighten up. Then she said, 3 or 4 months later, or she shifted and said, you know what, we're going to have to go to Vietnam, and we're going to source from Vietnam. These trade circles were made for a reason. She did. She placed another order, and the tariff was 2.5 times as high on Vietnam at that time. So she said basically she's went from a full-fledged, company going into her Christmas season to down to her and two other people. And
Wow.
she said she has no more money for innovation. She said going into the summer, they usually innovate and come up with a product for Christmas. That's their big thing. And people go, oh, yeah, but that's a small business. No, the small business is the backbone of America. It
Right.
really is. And, it's being eroded and destroyed. Um,
Right.
so you think of all these things. So now she said that bag that she makes will cost like 7 times what it used to cost. So guess how many customers you have? 0.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's a race to the bottom. Very, very sad. Um, and that wasn't a doom and gloom interview I was listening to. That was just on the news.
That was the optimistic interview?
Well, no, the optimistic was the one saying we'll just tariff them more. That was the optimistic guy.
This has been, everybody knows what we're talking about here, right? I genuinely think it's like if you live in North America or probably in the world at this point, you're recognizing that the cost of everything you buy is going up. Guys, like my water bill the last couple months too, has just been astronomical. I want to say we have a lot of kids, so it's okay. But the point is when you're paying nearly $300 a month for a water bill, yeah, life needs to get cheaper. But we've been talking about all of the things that are going wrong, right? What can we do? Let's start to look at maybe some positive things that we can start looking at to improve our cost of living. Now, listen, do you need every subscription? When was the last time that you went through all of your subscriptions? I want to say that I started out with Netflix and Prime, and now I have Stack TV, Paramount Plus, Disney, Hulu, whatever, you name it. We got it, right? But basically we went from we can have a very reduced TV bill to our TV bill is rivaling satellite that we used to pay. And it's just subscription services, right? The reality is that we are paying for a lot of stuff. And so I would say if we're looking for savings, start to look at your subscription services. If you just want to start with something easy, at the end of the month, open your Visa bill, start going through all of your subscription services and watch out for the annual subscriptions too. Those are something that can bite you in the ass, and it feels like they come out of nowhere, and you always get smacked with like a
Mhm.
$200 or $300 bill from those. Take a look at your subscriptions over the past even 12 months. Figure out when those annual ones are coming out, figure out the recurring ones, and see if you can't knock that back, because even 30 or $50 a month makes a big difference over 12 months. The other thing that I would say is, you're seeing Facebook Marketplace take off. Do you need to buy everything brand new? The answer is no. Um, I just got a brand new Apollo Twin. I can't get the damn thing to work. It's not me. It's literally Windows. Windows doesn't like it. But I could have paid $1,500 for that thing new, and I picked it up for $850 used. So
Yeah.
start to look at different things. You don't have to degrade your quality of life or the quality of items you're buying, but maybe try to find better ways to get a hold of them, because the reality is you're not going to change the system. I think we can all agree on that. The prices are just going to continue to go up and up and up, but you can get around those things. You don't need that brand new car. Get the one that's 2 years old and
Mhm.
save yourself 15-20% off that retail cost. Pick up the great new audio interface, but find it for nearly 50% off used, right? Look at the subscription services. Shop at Costco.
Yeah.
Like, we are
Yeah.
doing everything we
Good
can to
one.
try to reduce the Kennedy household costs, because same as you guys, like, we are struggling. It's not a you guys have a business, so you must be doing fine. No, every single person is having to cut costs because of the cost of things and find savings. But I think you will find there's subscriptions you are not using. There is that new audio interface that you can pick up for half the cost. There's the used car that is just as good as the brand new one at 20% off. Start to look for those savings, and you don't have to degrade your quality of life. You can still have the same quality of life, but we can get smarter with the way that we're shopping. And I think right now that might be the only chance we have to take some control back.
Well, and you know what? I love that because we've been doing that in minimalization, or guess whatever the term is they call that, right? Living with less. I think it's a good practice, like until eternity, right? Like it's not a
Right.
bad thing. Is like, what do we really need? And you know what? I'm a huge consumer. I buy things, a lot of them, but I've been trying very hard to go through and go, okay, what am I saving that for? Right?
Yeah.
What am I saving that for? And my problem is, I love collectibles and I love online auctions, and so I'm always ending up with things. But the beauty of it is, I continue to buy things for a few dollars that I could flip, right? I don't
Yeah.
need to. I'm not in a position where I need to, but I get enjoyment out of it, and I continue to find items that somebody else probably paid a lot of money for, right? They're authenticated, or
Totally.
they're graded, or whatever they are. And it's on the weekly that I continue to follow these auction sites and buy them, but I'm also being cautious of, do I really need something? Right?
Hmm.
What am I gonna do? Like, do I need 9 snow brushes, right? Because they come in a pack of 9. No, it's not even snowing yet. I need 1, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, in multiple items like that, do I need the latest, greatest, winter gloves, even though I have last year's latest, greatest? Because that's where they get that, to me, Kelly, is the same as a subscription service.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
They bait and they get you. I've been buying a barbecue cover every day for 4 days, it seems like, because I order one on Amazon, comes wrong size, and I'm fooled because they I guess they just have to put a measurement, but it's not the real measurement. Like, I used a tape measure and measured my barbecue and said from this end to this end, and that's exactly what I've been buying. And then I measure it and I'm like, meh. And so I email them and they go, well, it's a fabric and it doesn't have to actually fit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And then I'm like, do I need a barbecue cover? Like, there's people in other countries that don't have a barbecue, let alone they have a house for their barbecue.
Right.
And so it's
Yes.
just, it's a simple thing and a stupid thing. But I'm like, I find myself like, how could I spend $70? How could I spend $90? Like, I need to buy, right? So
Hmm.
even yesterday, I changed in my house, moved my home gym and my office, swapped the rooms. And as I was doing so, I'm like, what the heck? Why do I I have all these brand new items that I just buy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like you said, they're going on buy and sell.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough one because I love riding a motorcycle. Do I need a motorcycle? No. But I love riding motorcycles and I don't want to degrade that quality of life. I think the great thing about living in a Western democracy is that we can do the
That's
things
right.
we want just
100%.
because. We don't have to necessarily put off the things that we want to experience in life because we can't afford them. That's changing. That's absolutely changing. But I would say that in the meantime, I'm not ready to give up my ability to
No,
go grab a Corvette if I want one, or go get, a new motorcycle, or have the house for my barbecue. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to give those things up. What I'm suggesting is it's getting harder to do the way we used to do it. That
true.
doesn't mean that you have to necessarily change the way you live, but it may mean that we need to get smarter about how we're acquiring items, right? Do we need it brand new? Do we want to put something on credit that we're going to be on credit for 10 years? For me, the answer is absolutely not. I do not want to buy a car with a 10-year.
Yeah.
I won't. I straight up won't. That's just the way it is.
Smart.
But the point is that if that's the choice, we have to get smarter about where we're finding those items. And I do think right now, like I said, I think Facebook Marketplace is incredible. It's basically replaced Kajabi. or sorry, Kijiji, not
Kijiji.
Kajabi. Kijiji, yeah. But there are still ways to get the things that you want, the quality you want to get them. But I think we have to get smarter about our subscription services, what we're saying yes to repeatedly. And then obviously, still, if we want those high quality items, see if you can't pick it up used for 20 or 30% off.
Yeah, for sure. VJ, take us
Right.
home.
Yeah, I mean, like I try to be minimalistic always, so I don't try and buy the things I don't need. Same with the subscription services, of course. But you know what, guys? I mean, I somehow we try to be minimalistic. We're trying to reduce our cost down. We're trying to just get going, whatnot. It's kind of also like halfway also kind of insulting to the citizens in a way.
Sure.
Because of someone else's fault, you're kind of telling the citizens like what they should be doing and try to
tighten
cut
your
down
belts because we made bad fiscal decisions.
Yeah, exactly, because they are spending billions of dollars for digital audio.
Right.
What
See
about
that,
it,
Kelly? See
yeah,
that?
What is that?
I'm using that right now.
I know. Well, VJ, this is what you need to buy because me and Kelly have one.
The Shure microphone. Yeah, no, I will.
No. That is literally our audio interface right now. We're using VJ. We don't I'm not using that fancy Apollo Twin. I can't get it to work right now.
Right.
But I am using that little tiny Shure MVX2U audio interface, and it is exceptional. And it's like $200.
And here's how easy it was. Kelly texted me, dude, this is what you need to buy. I clicked on it and bought it. There it is. That's how it works. I subscribed right there to the KellyKennedyBuy.com official.
KellyKennedyBuy.com. That'll be my next domain.
So
anyway, that was episode 41, guys. Before we wrap the episode, I just want to give a shout out to author Andrew Z. Brown. I think he sent me a copy of Get Referred right there. So thank you, Andrew Brown. I'm going to check it out. Thank you so much, everyone tuning in for Authentic Hustle 41. Thank you so much. Later,
Hustlers.